What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 267 of The Ball is Round Montreal. My name is Andy Coronado, and tonight I'm joined by my boys, Hattie Rafael and Elias Gregoriadis.
Hello.
He does it on purpose, huh? He does it on purpose, doesn't he? This guy. How we doing, boys?
We're doing great. We've been having fun.
We just finished watching a game, Germany versus Paraguay. Thank you all for those that waited for the game to finish to join us. We appreciate this. It's been a hell of a World Cup. I mean, I know we're going to talk about Canada men's national soccer team and their game from yesterday, but how's the World Cup fever so far, guys? How are you guys feeling?
So good.
Man, it's amazing. Honestly, I'm loving this.
Round of 32 games where we're spoiled. We're spoiled right now.
You need to choose the right mic, Elias.
I know.
We're not hearing you.
What were you saying there? Elias? We didn't hear you.
Oh, we're spoiled, man. These games, especially the knockout games, all three of them have been fantastic so far. You've got lots of drama, lots of passion, and that's what you want in the knockout stages. The vibes, the good vibes are done. Now it's about war and hate crimes.
So I decided to do this little game with my cousins that where essentially we pick our team that's gonna win, and every time they get it right, their option, they get a point. So we've been kind of going back and forth, and there was this game that on Saturday night we stayed up. I'm sure you guys stayed up as well watching the Austria-Algeria game that ended up 3-3.
Yeah.
But it was madness until the last second. And I remember my wife actually put in the bet that it was going to be a tie. And then, I tried to I explained to her, hey, by the way, it really looks like they're going to agree to a tie, and that's going to be the rest of the game. So you can go if you want, because that's the way they were playing. And then all of a sudden they score. Algeria scores that goal. I was astounded. I had never seen that before. It really looked at they had come to an agreement that it was going to be a draw. And then within seconds, they score again, Austria, to tie it up again. Iran, I think, qualified for 30 seconds. And my wife was yelling, "It's a tie! It's a tie!" Anyways, little anecdote that's been going on in the World Cup. Shout out to my cousins and to everybody that's been participating in that little contest. We're having a bunch of fun with it. But yeah, Germany just lost. Let's move on. So we got a packed show for you tonight. As Canada takes another huge step in their World Cup journey, we'll look back at their first victory in their history of the elimination round against South Africa. And we'll also recap Roses FC loss against the Ottawa Rapids on Thursday night. All that and plenty more coming up in this episode. But before we dive into the fun stuff, quick little message for y'all. If you like The Ball is Round Montreal, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. It really helps the show grow and keeps us bringing you more content every single week. And don't forget, drop your thoughts on the comments. We love the interaction. What did you make of Canada's game? What did you make of Rose's game, FC Super's game? We're here to discuss it. What maybe needs to change or whatnot. Make sure you're also following us on all of our social media for daily updates, clips, and breaking takes covering everything CF Montreal, Rose FC, and FC Super du Quebec, as well as Canada Soccer now. So let's get right into Canada Soccer. How excited were you guys? Before the game, how did you guys see this challenge ahead with South Africa? Elias, how did you think this game was going to go? Maybe a few hours before.
I wasn't thinking anything. I was just violently nervous. I don't like it. It's nervous. And I didn't really know what was going to happen. I think that everyone knew that Canada had a good chance and was probably favorites in this game. But this is Canada. They've let me down before, so I'm not gonna walk in with any kind of preconceived notions. And hey, I spent the entire game standing and pacingly nervously around my living room. So nervous.
How about you, Hattie? How were you feeling before the game?
Man, exactly the same. And you know what? My wife is used to me now. Whenever there's a game where there's
Book her
so
long
much
enough.
stress around it, she knows that I need to be home like 2 hours before the game because I need to prepare mentally. I need to watch the pre-show. I need to I need to unwind. I need to make sure that I eat. I need to make sure that I'm in the right headspace in order to watch the game. So I was home around maybe not 2 hours before. I was home around 1:20, and I was like stressing, like really stressing. But at the same time, I don't think I would have stressed. Like I don't think I think I'm pretty sure that my stress would have been like 10 times worse if it was a bigger team than South Africa. But so I think next round is gonna be hell. I think the game like Saturday, I think I'm just yeah, I don't know. Uh, I need to be home at 9 a.m. until the game and not move and just concentrate and stuff.
Well, look, Hadi, on behalf of Elias and I, we want you to be home at 9 a.m. on Saturday, okay? So, so please be home at 9 a.m. So, no, I also felt similar to you guys after watching the Switzerland game. I really, all I was thinking, looking forward to the South Africa game was hopefully Jesse Marsh can find a way to make it work in the flanks, more thinking tactically. Hattie, it's so funny to hear that because I actually have a completely different approach than you do before games. I really, and this has been forever. Whenever I was watching soccer, football, basketball, whatever it is, the less previews I look at, the less I listen to stuff, say hours before. I'm not talking about days before. Days before, I don't mind reading stuff about it, but hours before, I want nothing to do with it. I'll only focus in the moment. That's the way it's always been my approach.
No,
because if not, I get too anxious, too nervous, knowing like too much before the game. But that's exactly how I was feeling. We, my wife decided that she wanted to go to Jazz Fest last minute, and so we went, and I started watching. I think it was good because if I would have been in the front of the screen, similar to you and Elias, I would have been a nervous wreck. But I was watching it anyways, and we ended up watching it outside of and we'll talk about the game. I'm just giving you guys how I was feeling in my headspace at that point. And yeah, I was nervous. But at the same time, I felt that they had a really, really good chance against South Africa because I had seen South Africa play throughout the competition, and they never really impressed me, especially the Mexico game. They really didn't impress how they play. I was surprised to even see them get onto the next round. But yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the game. We just want I'm sure a lot of fans, a lot of people, also a lot of listeners were feeling different things during the game. And P-Dubs that tells us if Paraguay can win, then we can. Yeah, positive. Let's go. So, all right.
It's important to remember that Paraguay also beat Argentina and Brazil in the qualifiers, right?
Yeah.
They had one horrible game against the US. Doesn't mean they're bad. They're still serious team.
Yeah, and please do not forget that South Africa beat Morocco. So, right? It's not like it's a team that really did very, very well in AFCON, did very, very well in the African qualifying phase. So, all the teams that are there, maybe they don't have the reputation, worldwide because they haven't done a lot, but in the qualifiers, they really earned their qualification.
Yeah,
the only teams that didn't really, in my opinion, earn their qualifications are the team in Europe that qualified through the Nations League and sucked in the qualifications, like Sweden.
And the hosts.
And the hosts. But not
Let's
us.
be honest here. We didn't earn shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. You're right.
But I mean, look, it's South Africa did earn their spot. They did beat a few, but I still felt their style of play wasn't anything that necessarily told me watch out for this team. Obviously, as we're going to talk about the game, we're going to talk a little bit about how South Africa was playing, as well as how Canada played, right? So, Elias, if you can just pull up the starting lineup of the game, please, and we're going to go ahead and look at who Jesse Marsh chose for the game. And this came out, what was it, an hour and a half before the game? We had Maxime Crépeau at goalie, Alistair Johnston at right back, Moise Bombito as center back, Derek Cornelius as center back, Richie Larea as left back, Liam Miller as left middle, Steven Eustaquio, Nathan Saliba in the middle, as well as Tejan Buchanan as the right middle. And then we had Jonathan David and Tani Oluwaseyi
There
as
you
the
go.
striker. So
Nice.
you guys see this. What's going through your mind? This is a huge game. This is a big game. Do you think Jesse Marsh made the right choice just with looking at that? How do y'all start with you?
Go ahead, Elias. Go ahead. He was starting. Go ahead.
It's the best available players. Yes. Right.
I agree.
No,
I agree.
no Promise David. No Ismail Kone. No Alfonso Davies. Right.
But
I
why
think-
no Promise David?
Look, if he hasn't played more than half an hour so far this tournament,
Yeah,
it's
but
clear
look
that
look
they
at
don't
Germany
think he's-
today. Look at Germany today. Undav didn't play as a starter since the beginning of the World Cup, and now
That's
he
a
was started
tactical
today.
choice. That's a
I
tactical
understand,
choice.
but and that for me, it's a
Dennis
tactical
Undav
choice.
also
that he
didn't tear
chose
his hip
Tani.
off the bone like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but still, that's not
Yeah,
the
but
reason
Hadi,
why.
what-
The reason why he put Tani was just to add, a better player that can do a really good pressing. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
pressing wise,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because he's very good at pressing the other team. So I thought it was very clever from Jesse Marsh. Now I was surprised. I wanted Promise David to be in the starting lineup, but I understood why he chose Tani. At the same time, I understood the choice for Liam Miller. The reason behind it,
Wait, sorry,
was-
Hadi. Before you move on, okay, because I know you're talking about the rest, but you keep insisting on Promise David, and I want to know why. Because what has he done in the past 3 games that merits, in your opinion, for him to start?
the reason is very simple. If you look at South Africa plays as a low block. They're very, very good playing very low, and you need a striker that's able to take up space and bring that physicality up front to really bother them. At that point, when you're a big body up front, you're going to be able to make sure that the defenders are on you, and that will create space for the other striker, which is Jonathan David.
But that approach, would it last 75 minutes or is it better for 25 minutes?
Also, 75 minutes and 90 minutes, like the most you can
So
have.
Promise
is the
David
best.
can't give you that right now.
No,
right?
exactly.
We're not sure. We don't know. Honestly,
Ma-
do you know that?
I mean,
I don't know.
I've seen him give an approach for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever he's played, and it's been good, but it hasn't been like, oh my god, he's got so much more left in the tank to go.
I
play.
don't know. Honestly, I didn't look at Promise David and see that. He's not able to last more than that. That nothing showed me that.
He's played like
I'm not
20,
in
30
training.
minutes
I'm
in
not
3 different
watching the
games
training
now.
sessions. Sorry.
He's played 20 or 30 minutes in 3 different games now. I'd
Yeah.
like to think he's ready to start in the round of 16.
Sorry,
But
if
again,
Bombito is ready to start in the round of 32,
It's different.
like that was the biggest surprise for me. I didn't think he was ready to start. Now, and we saw it during the game. He was a bit rusty, right? He missed quite a few passes, right? Now, I like his attitude, the tackle that he did in his in our own half, to really stop an offense from South Africa was great, and we can see also the header that he did should have been the first goal for Canada. That was great
Cornelius.
too. Huh?
Yeah,
That was Cornelius.
No. That was Bombito.
Yeah.
The one cleared off the line. That was Bombito.
Oh,
I
clear off the
swear to
line.
God.
No, but the
Yeah.
Cornelius had the free header first.
But I was talking about the Bombito one.
Oh, okay.
So it's because I was talking about Bombito. So I was talking about.
I know.
About,
I know. The Cornelius one
about his
sticks out to
header.
me more because that was even more obvious. Like,
Oh no, man, dude! He cleared off the line. The defender. For me, that was a goal. That was like, what the hell? That
free header like that. I think Cornelius's miss was worse.
yeah,
For
but
sure, man.
I liked what Bombito did, but I wasn't expecting him to be in the starting 11. So
But now it's an uncomfortable conversation because Luc de Fougerolles is statistically speaking the best defender at the World Cup right now, which is a crazy sentence.
I agree.
But it's also not a ridiculous sentence if you've seen the 3.5 games he's played.
Yeah.
Who comes out? Because right now,
For me, Cornelius should go out.
but here's the thing: Cornelius had a better game than Bombito. So is it just the name? Is it the name? Is it the meritocracy? Because if it's the name, then your starting duo is de Fougerolles and Bombito. But if you're going off of who's had the better tournament, it's Cornelius and de Fougerolles.
Man, Cornelius.
I mean, look, it's hard to label good and bad in the center backs because if we can agree, I think you guys let me know if the three of us can agree. Any of those three names you have mentioned have been very inconsistent.
Not
There
the
hasn't been a
Fougerat.
The Fougerat's
consistent
been
good.
Not
fantastic,
the
man.
Fougerat.
He's
I
had
agree
his
with you.
lapses of judgment
He's
too
on
against
the team of the tournament
Switzerland,
right
I
now.
believe.
He's a part of the team. He's in the team of the tournament right now.
No, I understand, but he's had
100%.
his lapses in important moments. In the goal of Switzerland, I believe it was the second one. He was part of with Derek Cornelius. It wasn't just on him, but he seemed to be a little bit confused as to what was going on and did a bad distribution that led to the goal. But it's again, I agree with you guys that to me, if you put him in an order, I do agree that Luc de Fougerat is definitely on top because he's had the more consistent ones. But the two others that we're talking about, they haven't shown much to me to say 100% definitive one has to start over the other.
No, for me, Bombito should start just because of all the experience that he has. And the fact that he got 60 minutes in the last game, for me, that gave him match experience and match fitness. And for me, he's the better. Like, if you look at the capabilities of the defenders, like in general, he's our best defender, right? So for me, he should start because of that. And next to him, I would choose the Fougerat because I agree with you, Elias. He's the best defender since the beginning of the World Cup. Now, for Cornelius, I think it was on him. One of the goals against Switzerland, clearly on him. We saw quite a few mistakes from him. Honestly, I shouldn't be the one to criticize Cornelius. He's a Marseille player, right? So
he's physical. He's a
I
big
think
boy.
gives
He's
you more
physical.
ammo to criticize him.
Huh?
I think gives you more ammo to criticize him.
Yeah, but usually I don't like to criticize Marseille player that play in the Canadian setup. But yeah, no, for me, he still had a good game against South Africa. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to choose, if we have a healthy Bombito, for me it's Bombito de Fougerat. No,
I think it also
asked.
depends on the opposition, because if the Netherlands win this game, and you have to go up against Brian Broby, then I want Derek Cornelius, because Moise Bombito and Luc de Fougerat just physically cannot keep up. And so I think that's also an important thing that has to be taken into account, that like we can speculate as much as we want, but you also have to tailor. Cody Gakpo too is not super strong, but he's still 6'4" and he's still an imposing physical player.
But let's talk
So I
about
think
that
that
in the preview of the next game, because right now we do want to focus on the South Africa game. Hadi, I cut you off when you were talking about the start lineup because I really wanted to know why Promise David. I really wanted to have an explanation because I know that you've been episode after episode, you've been talking a lot about Promise David and being able to.
Elias was talking about the Promise David a lot more than me, but in this game, I wanted Promise David.
Fair. So open the discussion before both of you guys. But anyways, you were going on about Liam Miller and you were talking a little bit about the selection. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, just Liam Miller. What I loved and the reason why I understand that he has sometimes he takes some bad decisions offensively. But what's interesting about Liam Miller is that he can cover the whole left flank. Mm-hmm. And we needed help on that left flank because that's why, and you saw it in the first half, so many times South Africa was trying to speed up on the right-hand side, so the left-hand side of our defense, because this is where their fastest player is. And they needed someone to help out Richie Larea. Richie Larea is great, but they needed someone to help out and to cover and to give an extra cover there. And I understood that. I was okay with that. So that's for me. And like I said, the only surprise for me was Bombito. I think it was the right decision. Now, in hindsight, when I look at the game, I think it was really the right decision to give him the 60 minutes.
Yeah, we'll talk about the game in a second. So I just wanted to say, when I saw that starting lineup, I was surprised. I was surprised, but not surprised that the midfield selection. I thought they would maybe try to do Nathan Saliba and David Mathieu Chouanier encore again. But no, they didn't. Instead, they chose Eustaquio, and he had. We can say it today. It was a fantastic choice. He scored the winning goal. But beyond that, I mean, in the flanks, again, like you guys spoke about the center backs, I don't think anybody's done much to deserve a solid starting at least in the left middle, right middle. It's very hard to discuss. Tejan Buchanan belongs there, but um, yeah, this team badly needs Alfonso Davies back for that because he did go into that left winger position after. Would you, if you guys are Jesse Marsh, and just before we get into the game, if you guys are Jesse Marsh on, what was it? Yesterday was Sunday.
Saturday. Next
Sunday
game?
morning. No, I was
Oh,
saying
okay.
yesterday was Sunday morning. Sunday morning, you're choosing your team. You know that Alfonso Davies can only maybe give you 30 minutes, but it's the most important game probably of your career as a coach. The selection you're gonna do because you're host country and you're also, you're expected to win against a South African team. Do you guys risk Alfonso Davies' health for the sake of winning the game, or did he make the right choice to almost use him as a cameo again? What do you guys think, Elias?
I
Would
mean,
you have
if he
done? Would you
if he
have
wasn't
making?
physically ready to play a single minute a week ago, then he wasn't ready to play 60 minutes yesterday. It's just, the fact that he got in like 25, 30 minutes, including at a time, is a really good thing. But again, like you can tell, like, yes, he had that aura when he got in the field, and almost everyone kind of, sat on the edge of their seat a little bit, especially every time he touched the ball. But you could tell that this is also a guy that hasn't
He
played
hasn't
in a couple
played.
of weeks. He's
Yeah.
rusty. He's not as quick. He's not, it looks like a player who's coming back from injury. It looks like a player who has his first minutes since being injured. So this is not a surprise to me. And, to that point, I've voiced my displeasure with many decisions that Jesse Marsh has made tactically. The first thing that I gave him credit for, which something I gave him credit for the second he took over, was simplifying Alfonso Davies' role and making him a left back, a proper left back. Already in the half hour that I saw him as a winger, yeah, he had some nice moves, but again, I saw the return of the Alfonso Davies I was trying to do too much in certain moments. And like one ball that he played into the middle that ended up with Promise David getting a free shot. He could have laid it off to Schaffelberg, but he decided to shoot. But like that ball into the middle, no one else in the team can make that ball. So his quality is evident. But then for every moment like that, there's 2 or 3 moments where he either holds on to the ball too long or he tries to do too much instead of just combining and kind of settling into his role. Because as good as Alfonso Davies is, he's a system player and he's a role player and he's a world-class role player.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you, Elias. I agree with you, but one thing though, that was his role for this specific game. He needed to be the game changer. He put him in to be the game changer, to give a pushback to Canada, because at that point, Canada needed a kick in the ass.
Yeah, and he provided
Alfonso
that.
Davies was the kick in the ass.
But the thing is, you
Was
also have
supposed to.
Jacob
I don't think he
Schaffelberg.
was.
You have a Jacob Schaffelberg, and you have an Alistair Johnston, who's arguably one of the best players on the pitch last game, on the other side of the field, that were basically isolated for the second Davies got on the field, right? So I love that Davies was able to get in and impact the game basically right away.
But even
But
in the
I
other
also
games,
I don't love. But I'm talking about Davies now specifically and the effect Davies has on
even in the
oppositions,
other
right?
games,
South Africa shifted everybody to Davies'
yeah, but
side. You
even
could
in
tell.
the other games, we were playing a lot more on the left than on the right, like since the beginning of the
That's
World
not true, because when you have Buchanan and you
that's-
have Johnson on the same side, it's much more. There's much more usage, but I didn't see any usage on the right side when Davies got on the field. That's the thing, right? It's
Because-
not that I saw. It's not that I saw less. It's not that I saw not as much as I'd like to see. I saw none whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
bigger. Like if I saw a decrease in the usage of the right side, that's
Yeah.
natural when your best player comes on the field. Obviously, the fact that I saw no attempts to play side to side and
But the
kind of
goal
make
came from
progress
the
on
right. It's true.
It
The
was
goal
a
came
switch
from
of
the right.
play. It was a switch of play that
The
immediately
goal-
went back in the middle of the field.
Will come from the right or
Okay.
not?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Sorry. Right.
Don't tell me none.
When I said I saw no development, you're right. I saw one development.
Okay,
But look
whatever.
what happened.
That's
Look what
more than
happened when
none.
they switched. If anything, you're making my point, Hadi. Look what happened when they switched to play. If anything,
So,
you're making my point for me. He scored.
When we talk about the game, because unless you're living on the rock, you know that Canada won their first game and they won 1-0 last minute. What was it? The 94th, 95th minute?
92nd.
92nd minute. I was at like I told you guys at Jazz Fest. I was watching it outside because there was a little lineup of people, and the moment they were. When we talk about Davies, there were a lot of people wearing the Davies shirt, and I told you guys this um, in one of the shows how I would prefer that people wore more Tejan Buchanan shirts, in the sense, not for sales, not for that, but more for him to be like, have that impact that Alfonso Davies has. So the moment he was shown on camera, people went crazy. They started clapping and all that. And then whenever he would get the ball, people would start standing up like, here he goes, here he goes. But as you mentioned, Elias, it was a player that was clearly missing fitness and was not comfortable in that position and was trying to do too much. Was trying to play hero ball at some point, But when we talk about the game overall, guys, I told you guys last time we spoke about this, it was an unpopular opinion of mine that I believe that Canada should have done more against Qatar, right? I believe that they should have scored more against Switzerland. Switzerland's a very tough opponent, and I thought it was probably one of the toughest opponents that Canada's faced so far in the World Cup. Very organized team. Kind of played around Canada a lot of the times. South Africa, though, I didn't find them to be a good team. I didn't think they were a good team. Was Canada good? I mean, look, when we're talking about they scored a 92nd minute winner, which is great. It passes on Canada. It's historic, guys, and we can celebrate that and we can talk about that. But when we analyze the game in itself, are you happy with the performance Canada gave in this match? Did you want more? Was it exactly what you expected? Well, how did you see this game develop? The fact that it stayed 0-0 for so long against, again, less talented South African team.
Okay, there's quite a few points here. The first one, South Africa plays that game where you think that they're very bad and then they hit you with a counter and they score. We saw it against South Korea. Everybody, that a lot of people in Los Angeles were Korean fans because they were sure they were going to finish second. And a lot of people thought,
in LA.
huh?
There's also a massive Korean population.
I understand, but still, like, everybody bought tickets for that game, knowing and thinking that South Korea would be there.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be the second of the group. But when I watched the game of South Africa against South Korea, for me, South Africa was the better team. And they deserved that win. Yes, they play on the counter. Yes, they're very disciplined. I love what the coach has done. By the way, Hugo Bruce is the coach that helped Cameroon win the AFCON too. He made sure that South Africa beat very good teams. He's been with the team since 2021. So yes, when you look at the game, you're like, yeah, Canada was better. And yes, they weren't, South Africa weren't able to really express themselves very much. And the reason behind it was because of Canada. And I'm going to quote Hugo Bruce after the game in his post-match press conference. He said something, and I love it. He said, we lost because of lack of power and speed. We lost a lot of duels in the air. He's like, it's not only running speed. It's not being quick and being fast. It's speed of execution. He said, Canada was quick. In the modern game, technique is not enough. You need speed and power. And for me, just that quote explained the whole game. Canada was, yes, they should have scored more. I agree with you, Andy. Yes, they missed so many good chances. I agree with you 100%. And this is something that they need to address before the next game, 100%. But if you look at our own demons, when you look at our own demons, this is where we were scared. Because in the past, we've seen so many games of Canada where Canada would dominate and then lose. And this is why we're scared. But when you look at really dangerous chances for South Africa, I didn't see that many dangerous chances. There were half chances, yes. But at one point, did you have a one-on-one? Never. They were able to really handle the space between the defense and the goalkeeper, which was the space that Canada's weakness. And they handled it very, very well. So I think tactically, Jesse March did the right things. The only thing that needs to improve, that we need to improve on, is just score goals. All those chances, and we had four big chances in the game, apart from
But
the goal.
Hadi, you've been saying that since we went to that friendly against Ireland. All they gotta do is score
Yeah,
goals.
but they didn't win,
What do you
and
against
they
Ireland?
conceded. Yeah, 1-1 finished.
Yeah,
Right?
but that's not the point. You keep saying you have to improve the scoring. You have to improve
Yeah.
the scoring. How
No,
many?
I still,
When is that gonna happen? Like, when does it start becoming a liability that they keep failing at scoring? Because I'm
When they
seeing
lose.
when they lose, exactly. Thank you,
when they
Elias.
lose,
When they lose.
but I'm still at the 92nd minute. When it's still 0-0. Matthew says, "Hey, you have a problem? Can you have a problem with FIFA TV?" Okay, sure, I can turn it off. Can turn it off. I have no issues. I don't want to cause any problem. But anyways,
No, but that's a good question. Mathieu asked, "Will you have a problem because you don't have the copyrights?" He's right. He's just
maybe.
looking out for you.
Thank you, Mathieu. I
That's
turned it
all.
off.
Yeah. So
Appreciate
just
that.
Andy had a TV with the game
I
behind
was
him. So
I was watching a terrible game just a few minutes ago, so apologize for that. And thank you,
thanks,
Mathieu, for
Mathieu,
bringing that up.
for this.
Yeah. Anyway, so all I'm saying is, it's an issue to me. It's. I believe that the Steven Eustaquio goal that happened in the 92nd minute was great. It was a great shot. It was well placed. Yeah, I thought it was great. That's what I thought. But if we look at all the minutes before that, there were many moments where Canada seemed like they couldn't find themselves, and that's the problem. It starts getting concerned. Elias, maybe you can help me out with this, or how do any of you?
No, go ahead.
What is Canada's identity offensively? Because we talk about the high press, we talk about the the center backs doing this and that. What is Canada's identity today after watching all these games offensively? Do they have one?
Yes, yeah, they do. It's
Oh,
pace and
yes.
power. It's pace and power, and it's wearing you down. Right? You don't look at them to play the way Spain or even the way France play. Right? The way Canada does it, it's almost a death by a thousand cuts, but not in the way it's death by a thousand passes. It's death by a thousand failed attacks because the 1,001st is going to work. It's literally just that. They have such
Speed and
physical
power.
quality that they keep going and they try the same thing and they try the same thing on the other side and they try the same thing down the middle and they try the same thing on the other side over and over and over again until they just wear you down. Because South Africa, again, credit to South Africa, they defended very well.
Yeah.
But the goal itself was fairly elementary, right? It's a switch of play. You keep the ball, you cut it back, and you find an open shot. And yeah, it was a fantastic shot, and you need a bit of a lucky bounce, but that was a play that Canada had done a dozen times during the game, and South Africa had dealt with relatively easily. But again, it's just wearing you down. And so it's just the determination and it's the persistence of Canada that it makes up for not having Pedri or Kevin De Bruyne or Kylian Mbappe. It's a much more
We have
collective effort.
Eustaquio. We have better. I'm joking.
Well, that's why I didn't say Ronaldo because we have a better.
Okay,
But-
so you said what the identity is, right? Great. But is it the best one for Canada? Is it the one
It's
that
the-
works best for them?
It's
Because
the only one.
Yes, because Canada has no other options.
Yeah.
You look at the profiles of the most prolific players on the team. You look at Promise David, you look at Tejan Buchanan, you look at Alfonso Davies. I'm talking about attacking wise. Now you look at Alfonso Davies, you look at Jonathan David as well. You look at Ismail Kone, you look at even Steven Eustaquio to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Alistair Johnston. These are all players who thrive in a very vertical and a very dynamic style of play. And so
They're
Jesse
very
Marsh,
fast.
who is from the Red Bull School of Football, is well placed to kind of channel that properly, right? I disagree with the man in terms of formation choice, whatever. But in terms of overall philosophy, especially going forward, he's done exactly what's needed of him. He's simplified roles and he's put people in positions where they are well suited to thrive. Jacob Schaffelberg's another example, right? His entire Copa America run was just pace and power.
Yeah.
And he became one of the most recognized athletes in the country over that summer. So I think that, that is Canada's identity to a fault. Now, when they go up against teams like South Africa or Bosnia that have a very physical presence, a very low block, and a formation and a team that is perfectly suited to withstand consistent and repeated assaults on multiple fronts, then you're going to have less success. But the thing
I
is, you
would
also
add
have to
one
remember, right?
thing.
Yeah.
I would add one thing, Elias, because I completely agree with you, and that's when you look at the good stuff in Canada. You know, the speed of all those offensive players, but at the same time, the weakness of Canada is the central defense, and it has always been the weakness of Canada. And by playing that high up with space and power, at one point you don't rely that much on your central defenders to really withstand very enormous amount of pressures. So at the same time, you're answering to your offensive threats, but at the same time, you're protecting your weaknesses by playing that game. I just wanted to add that because I completely agree with your take.
P Dubs with an interesting question. If Canada play like Paraguay against either Morocco or the Netherlands, would you like it? Canada is much more proficient on the counter. So if Canada defended like Paraguay, I would love it. But Canada is also a much deadlier team on the counter. So if they could put in a performance
better
and be stronger, if they could put in a performance like that defensively, then I think they have not only an opportunity but a fairly good chance to make either team sweat. My only problem with the South Africa game, and I kind of want to bring this up, especially because Hadi, you talked about how well they managed the space between the back line and the goalkeeper. Because when you look at it, right, South Africa had 58% of the ball and they had 0.13 expected goals.
Yeah.
They had 8 touches over 90 minutes in the box, despite having 58% of the ball, right? Defensively, it's fantastic. My only problem was that the gaps in the rest of the field were way too big. The press at times felt really disjointed, and they were able to break lines and they were able to get into half spaces so easily.
Yep.
I agree, but that wasn't in the beginning.
No,
it
but
started
that was as
like
the game
maybe
went on.
about 25 or 30 minutes
after the hydration break. After the hydration break. So I don't know if that was an adjustment by the South African coaching staff. I don't know if that was part of the game plan. Either way, my hats off to South Africa because they found gaps that no other team, including Switzerland, were able to find this tournament. So my big concern now is if you have a midfield of, Brahim Diaz or, Frankie de Jong and Ryan Gravenberch, they're going to kill you, right?
But
because they
why,
already made you sweat, right?
Yeah.
They didn't end up getting any shots on target. They didn't end up getting any really good sights at goal, but they made the Canadian defense sweat several times.
Yeah,
if you do that against world-class midfielders, they'll kill you. Yeah. So I hope to see a press that is much more coordinated because that was the first time, I think, since Jesse Marsch really took over that I've seen the press look that disjointed.
And this is why I asked the question of identity, because to me, I'm trying to figure out what it is that Jesse Marsch is trying to put to it. And just when I feel like I understand it and I see the vision that he's trying to put in there, it all of a sudden breaks. And how do you maybe enlighten me a little bit with the way that South Africa plays, because that's not how I saw them play, but it's might be right. They might be sneaking kind of a sneaky good on you if you want to where where you're not expecting them, all of a sudden they pull out some stuff, which there's plenty of teams that take the World Cup advantage of the World Cup stage to do that, right? Look, I don't think South Africa played a good game, but they did have moments where they definitely scared Canadian fans and Canadian players, and you were like, who is this South African team that came out of nowhere, But at the end of the day, it's the results that counts, right? But yeah, so if you guys just want to give your finishing thoughts on the game, but at the same time, kind of give me your top and flop of the game. We'll finish with that, and then we're going to talk about the next game. Hadi, just maybe final thoughts on your top and flop of the game.
Yeah, I'll do the final thoughts, and then I'll give the top and flop to Elias because I feel that I've been talking a bit too much.
You don't want to pick one, huh?
No, I have them. They're written, but I just wanted to give you some space. My final thought for me, there's something else that we didn't talk about, and for me, that's a big problem with Canada. Is that 15 minutes between the 45th minute and the 60th minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 2 games in a row where Canada completely disappears in that 15 minutes. And this is bad, man. This is bad because I feel they're still in a dressing room. They didn't really come out to play. And, against top opposition, I'm a bit scared because this is what Switzerland did. If you look at the game against Switzerland, we played a good game. Just those 15 minutes, we got scored on twice. So 15, 20 minutes, I don't remember the minutes, but like it's that time, that crunch time where Canada is unfortunately not able to really develop anything, not even defend. Like everything looks disjointed during that period of time. So that's something that Canada needs to look at and make sure that it doesn't happen again against much tougher opposition in Morocco or the Netherlands. Go ahead, Elias, with your top and flop, and I'll do
I
And any
100%
final
agree with
thoughts you might
that.
have?
My final thought really is just it's consistency, right? It's consistency and Canada being able to find the right matchups because so far the biggest team they've played against was Switzerland, and the second they showed any kind of vulnerability, it got blown wide open. This is the first time since their draw with France, like what, 3 years ago, that they're going to face world-class opposition.
Yeah.
I mean, upper echelon of the world. I don't remember another. I mean, there was the Copa America.
I didn't remember if we played the Netherlands before or after.
No, but
France.
they also played Peru, right? World class. Go ahead.
So wait, was France before or after Copa America?
That's a good question. I'll check. Just go on.
But France and Copa America were in the same summer, I believe, right? So since that summer, that is to be the first time they face the upper level, the highest level of international football. And this is where I worry that Canada's strengths will still be strengths, but to a smaller degree, and Canada's vulnerabilities will be blown wide open.
It was before Copa America.
Okay,
just before.
Yeah,
so they played France and Netherlands just before.
Yeah, and so this will be the first time since that Copa America summer 2 years ago that they're facing the best teams in the world, one of the best teams in the world. And so I just hope that they've learned from that Copa America, the good and the bad, how to navigate games like this because they have no experience with it since. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted one of their friendlies to be against a top team because, you have to be able to navigate games. They're different, man. The games like this are different. The aura is different. The mental, everything, the mind games, everything about it is different. And Canada has no experience with that. That's the only thing that concerns me. My top of the game is Luc de Fougerolles. Again, the second he stepped on the field, right? And Mosmbito did a good job. Luc de Fougerolles did a different job, but he was, again, so efficient at minimizing everything. My big disappointment of the game was I don't really have one. I mean, yeah, I want to see more of Jonathan David. Jonathan David was kind of invisible, right?
Yeah.
Right?
He was visible, but he didn't succeed at anything.
He was good. He was good in combination, but again, this is supposed to be the talisman of the team. And again, be it through Jesse Marsh playing him out of position, be it through him not having the most confidence right now, he settled into the background way too easily.
Wait, but Elias, I'll challenge you on that because you said there wasn't really a flop, but what about Tajon Buchanan? Do you find that his performances are inconsistent? That makes him almost a flop? Because he was
yes and no.
Qatar.
Because the thing with Tajon Buchanan is that he's not world class yet. He's still just a streaky player.
Oh,
right.
That's
he'll
where I might
have games where he's not world class, dude. He'll have games where he's untouchable, right? And he'll have games where he's on, and anytime he touches the ball, he's a threat. And he'll have other games where he's better used as a decoy. And I think he did a good job making space for Alistair Johnston in the game because Alistair Johnston had a fantastic game. So you kind of ask yourself, how does a fullback have a good game when the wing on that same side doesn't do anything? I think he does a good job. I think he does a good job of recognizing when maybe it's not his day. Because yesterday, I saw nothing from him.
But how many days is he going to have that it's not his day?
A couple. As he'll
He
have
didn't
days
have
that
a.
are great.
He's not having a good World Cup. He's right, Andy. I agree
No,
with you,
no,
Andy. He's not having a good World Cup. I
he's
agree
not.
with you 100.
But
But
percent
at
since the
least he
Ireland
was.
game,
At least he
Hadi, when we
recognized
went to
it.
watch him,
Yeah, but at
sorry,
least
go.
because again, right? That
But he's
side
not terrible.
without no,
No,
but without Alfonso Davies, that side is going to get a lot more defensive attention than the others than the left side. That's just the truth. So I understand that they're getting more attention, but what they're doing is they're creating more space in the middle. I think that Eustaquio and Saliba were better off for it. I think that even Taniolo Sehi had a much better game because there was more space.
Yeah, I
But
liked his game.
you saw the same thing. You saw the same thing happen when Davies got on the field and Buchanan got off. The exact same thing happened to Davies. It's just on the other side of the field.
look, I'll say this. I thought my flops were actually the two sides, the two wingers. I didn't like their games. I thought they weren't very. Maybe like you said, it was a matter of choosing their moments, and they decided not to make it about them, but their fullbacks. But I didn't. I saw a lot of crosses that Liam Miller, didn't make. A lot of Tayshaun Buchanan also didn't seem to be at the same page with Alistair Johnson at times. So that was my flop. I mean, they didn't have a horrendous game, but they weren't impactful as I would like them to be at this stage of the World Cup. But the top, it's very hard to like pick anyone in particular. But I gotta say, so far, I've loved Maxime Crépeau's tournament. I think he's been consistent. He's been level-headed, and more than anything, guys, I love how good he is with distributing the ball. I think I've seen too many CF Montreal games where I see poor distribution from the goalie, and Maxime Crépeau has shown me that hey, there actually are Canadian goalies that can distribute the ball well. So it's that's I've really liked his performance. He hasn't been tested per se too much. He wasn't tested too much yesterday, but he still has been a solid presence in the back. And as you mentioned, Hattie, a few pods ago, he really does fits the scheme, fits Marsh's what Marsh asked for him. And yeah, I think that would be my top. Hattie, we'll finish with you. What's the top and flop of the
Oh, I was the reason why I was I wanted to be the last one because I have so many tops, but I can't believe nobody said Steven Eustaquio. Not because only about his goal.
C'est trop
He
évident.
had a perfect game.
It's
For
too
me, he
obvious.
had a
Yeah, I wanted to
perfect
save it for
game.
you, Hattie. I wanted to save it for you.
No, but like honestly, no, independently of his goal,
Yeah.
the guy was just perfect
Oh, he ran the
in
field.
everything he did. Everything he did, all the set pieces, the way he controlled the middle, the way he controlled the team emotionally, the way he handled that last action, the calmness that he had to just control it with the chest and take that perfect shot. Looking at the goalkeeper, knowing that he wasn't in the right position, and scoring in the nice 92nd minute.
The
Like
set piece
there's nothing
delivery.
to say. Like the guy is the captain of the team. I understand that officially it's Alfonso Davies, but I'm sorry, Steven Eustaquio is like the heart of the team. It's
I
as
agree with
simple
you.
as that.
He is a conductor of that offense, and I do like what he did. The only thing I'd like to see him be is a little bit more vocal with his teammates when they're not playing up to
But
par.
you see him on TV all the time.
He's
He's talking
extremely
to everybody.
demanding. He's very
Yeah,
Portuguese.
well, because that's again, I agree with you that he had a fantastic game, and the goal is legendary, man. It was a great goal, but I just think that I think he needs to do something. It's not solely on him; it's also on the coach to hopefully maybe get his offensive players a little bit to be a little bit more creative with and give them better weapons, right? Because yes, you're right. He is calm and he distributes the ball well, but in my mind, in order for him to get to that next level, it would be really to hold his teammates accountable a little bit more instead of just letting him do all the work. But anyways, that's my opinion. Anyways, you were saying your flop.
It's a good opinion. For my flop, yeah, I agree with you, Elias, Jonathan David. Honestly, I understand that he plays in a role where he has a lot to do because he's not only a striker, he's not only a poacher. He has to do so many things and be the link up between the midfield and the offense. He has to be the leader of the team. He does so many things and he fills so many gaps. But at the same time, dude, you're a striker. At the end of the day, this is who you are. So whenever you take chances, that famous chance on the corner where he was all alone on the
Yeah.
penalty spot, and then he completely misses his shot. At one point, I'm pretty sure nobody remembers it, but at one point at the beginning of the game, he receives the pass. He's his back to the goal. Everything, not his back to the goal, but like he's outside of the area. Everything that he needs to do is just do a small, you know, what's the name in English? Fat. Like he needs to just,
I think
go on the left. Yeah, just go on the left and just shoot it. And he mishandles the ball. He just completely, misses the control. His first touch lets him down. And for me, he's supposed to be our best player. And unfortunately, in those key moments, he wasn't. And for me, that's bad, man. We need, like, when we're gonna play against Netherlands and Morocco, he can't miss those chances. I understand that you have a lot to do, but at the same time, you're the best player of the team. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot to do, and you need to perform better.
I don't think it's so much as to what he did, because I know you guys mentioned of everything he did, but it's also like how often he disappeared from the game. He let himself be like pretty much hidden from any part of the attack. Tani was doing the heavy lifting, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go ahead and look on to the next game. But before, I did have a big question, because we talked about the game, how important the game is, but I think we all three of us spoke it on the side chat, right? Like, this is a huge victory, not just for the team, not just for Canada, Canada's route in the World Cup, but Canada's soccer worldwide, and for its future. How big was yesterday's victory for you guys when we
I just
talk
think
about the
finally
future of
it's
soccer in Canada and
I just think it's finally proof of concept. You know, we've been talking about these expectations since basically for 4 years now, right? Since the arrival of this generation, we're like, okay, this team is legit. This team should be taken seriously. They were stuck with hindsight, what turned out to be the hardest group in the World Cup last year. When you have two semifinalists in your group, that's not for your first World Cup in 40 years. That's not ideal, right? But you know, we waited for Copa America. They did great. They finished fourth. That was again that's further proof of concept. Gold Cup was a bit of a dumpster fire, but this is the first time that you know they're not being looked at as a fluke, or they're not being looked at as a throwaway, they're just here for whatever reason, you know. So this is a long time coming, and I've it's been all over, social media, but they were 109th in the world when they were given this World Cup. 100, they went up 70 spots, and they should be even higher if you go off the teams they've beat than the results they've gotten in the last 2 years. It's incredible, right? So now what you have to do is make sure that this generation is not a one-off, because they realistically, for a good chunk of this generation, at least in their prime, you're gonna get one more World Cup out of this. After that, you have to start looking at the future. You have to start looking at Don Saliba. You have to start looking at Luc de Fougerolles. You have to start looking at Nico Seeger. You have to start looking at, Promise David, all these different young players that are already here, that are going to be the Steven Eustaquio, the Jonathan David, the Moise Bombito. Moise Bombito is also young. Let's be honest here, right? So all these players are now going to have to be at the forefront. They're going to have to become the household name that Alphonso Davies is. So I think it's still crazy to think that just over 4 years ago, the only national team that had any respect in Canada was the women's team, and now we've got two national teams that command respect.
100%. I agree. I agree with you, because as you mentioned, the facts of how many spots Canada has moved up, in the rankings. It's beyond that. It's the fact that people are starting to recognize the team. I mentioned a little bit earlier that I was at Place des Arts, and on my way there and on my way out, the amount of people that were wearing Canada soccer jerseys with a Davies name on the back, while he's injured in the World Cup, they're actually supporting the team. And this kind of victory on a hot summer day, Jazz Fest, there's a string, families that never seen soccer and all that, see a crowd of people yell at the top of their lungs when Canada scores a goal, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, what's happening? Why are people yelling?" And they see that Canada just won a game in the World Cup, and that's saying something because that catches their attention. They say, "Huh, I didn't even know Canada was that good." Because that's the truth. That's literally what comes up in people's minds at times. Because Canada was never known for its soccer. So I think this victory, again, Canada continues moving on and moving on. They are going to face tougher competition, and I think that they're going to, as they move on, if they win or lose, people are going to notice that, at least Canada made it this far. And if they're not watching now, they're going to watch later because Canada is growing. And I do believe, and I do strongly believe that it is going to be because this generation, as Elias mentioned, is not a one-off. That there's kids that are watching right now. There's a big generation of kids that are, growing and all that, and starting to watch a lot of social media and all that. And I think Canada Soccer is also doing a very good job of highlighting these very important moments through social media, which is what kids consume, and which is allowing for more exposure for Canadian soccer in the youth and the growth of the sport. So I think this victory was huge because more than anything, guys, Hadi, Elias, it gives us also the opportunity to talk about it. And the more we talk about it, the more people get interested because it is a hot topic. Guys, the more rounds Canada moves up, the less teams there are. So you can only focus on so many teams. And so Canada will become a hot topic if they continue moving, no matter how far they go. So this was an extremely important, not just for today, for this tournament, but for the future, in my opinion. Hadi, what did you think of this? How big was this victory?
Oh wow, oh wow. For yeah, it was huge, huge. Yeah, and a lot of people. I just want to give I just want to go on a rant a bit because for people that have been saying that the only reason they went far is because it's 4018, South Africa sucks, guys. Italy's not here. Nigeria is not here.
Peru.
Cameroon is not here. Peru is not here. Lebanon is not here. No, but like what I mean is, so many teams that are supposedly on paper and have a reputation to have a great soccer culture, because Canada doesn't have that reputation, unfortunately, which I will never understand, are not here. And Canada was here. Not only that, Canada was able to beat a team that's known for their soccer. South Africa is not a small soccer culture, right? It's a team that has, was hosted the World Cup in 2010. It's a team that was super interesting in 98, even if they didn't win a lot of games. It's a team that has been around soccer for a while. And the Benedict McCarthy of this world, the Marty Fish of this world, all those players have been so important in soccer. So let's look at that and let's see how far we've come. Being able to compete and to beat those teams is already a big win, and being able to win games in a major tournament, that's also another big game. You guys remember when we did hear the ball is round in the last Gold Cup, and what was our thinking and our reasoning? We're like, okay, Canada is doing better. The next step is to win something.
Yeah.
And every time we wanted to win something, we would fail against a bad team. Like we lost the last Gold Cup against Guatemala, man.
Yep.
All respect to Guatemala, but still.
No respect to Guatemala.
But this is what we're able to do now. We're able to look at South Africa in the eyes and say, you know what, guys, we're better than you. And we won. And now I think it's about time that we look at the giant and that we repeat what we did in Copa America and beat the giant, which is going to be either Morocco or the Netherlands. At the same time, and that's the final point I will say, Canada's World Cup is a success.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We don't care what's going to happen in the future. Even if we lose 6-0 in the next game, a World Cup is a success. Yeah, it is. It is a success. We were able to qualify from the group phase, win a knockout round. It's a success. It's as simple as that.
I will admit that getting round of 16, everything else is gravy, 100%.
Exactly.
I don't want to lose 6-0.
Can I say one last thing?
Come on.
Let's
Pick any other number. Okay.
I want to say one last thing, okay? In this thing.
Well, apparently,
So-
according to Andy, 6-0 is not that much. So maybe, you know what? Okay, maybe.
Yeah. For Andy, it has to be 13-0 to be really.
You guys want to talk about that? Because you guys were giving me shit about giving shit to Germany after they won 7-1. Look what happened today.
Oh
It's
man,
not the same thing.
that's not the same thing.
No,
That's
they are
not
a
the same
terrible
thing.
team. They
You're
are
right. If they had won
a
13-1,
they're
they would
not.
have beat Paraguay. You're right.
No. All right. Well, we're not here to talk about Germany, but I stand by what I said. They are a terrible team, and they've had a terrible downfall from where they used to be. So.
Oh yeah, that I agree. The last part I agree.
So terrible
They're not
for
a
me.
terrible team.
That's what makes it so terrible. It's a terrible downfall from what they used to be and from where they were going, which is one of the biggest fears that I have for Canada. I want them to continue in this good pathway. I want them to continue the growth. I don't want them to stagnate and then fall like Germany did, because that's what happened.
Let's win a World Cup and then we'll compare ourselves to Germany.
Understand what I'm trying to say here, though. Understand my message. I want the growth to continue. Germany had a growth, and they had a growth way too fast, and then they didn't know how to sustain it. So now they had a massive downfall. This is a failure of a World Cup, and it's been failures of World Cup after and after. But anyways, like I said, we're not here to talk about Germany. But I do want to say something. Okay, so yesterday, after the World Cup, the game of Canada, I put out a tweet of my thoughts of the game, and I made a mistake. I said something very stupid about Steven Eustaquio's shot. It was dumb. It was stupid, and it wasn't my mistake because I didn't think properly of what I was writing, and people ripped me to pieces, deservedly so. I'm not saying they're wrong. Okay, I deserve to be ripped to pieces for that. But the reason why I'm saying this is because when I looked today, I stopped looking at the notifications because I don't care. Like I it's too much. But last I saw, I had, I think, like, I don't know. In that tweet, I had 120 likes or something. I don't know. But over like 350 comments. And I stopped reading them because a lot of them
I just found the tweet. Hold on.
But no, Elias.
You didn't see the tweet, Elias?
No.
But look, let me finish. So
No, finish.
that's why I said deservedly so. I got ripped. I don't care. I made a mistake and I admit it, and it's okay. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, because more than anything, guys, if I try to see at the glass half full of my stupid ass mistake, is that I use the hashtag Canada Men's National Team # FIFA World Cup, and the fact that tweet, I'm Andy Coronado. The fact that tweet got 350 comments, I'm so happy about, because that means people care enough to defend their team and call out somebody that makes a moronic take. And I like that, because that means that people are interested in talking about it and are interested in you know what this team is doing. I like that. I want there to be interaction, because the other result could be that I put a moronic take like that with plenty of mistakes, and people just don't care and ignore me, and they don't care about Team Canada. And that's
good,
to me
good spin. Yeah, calling it desperate is crazy.
Yeah, and I
Calling
like I said, it was
crazy.
it
No,
was,
risky and desperate. Like,
Yeah,
this is the crazy part.
Deservedly
But
so,
the rest, I
put it
agree.
to pieces.
The rest of your take, I kind of get what you meant.
Yeah,
I kind of get that it was scary at one point, the game and the way the game was going, and the fact that we didn't score goals before. Completely agree with that take. But like the shot, like,
but like I said,
for me, if Eustaquio didn't shoot, I would have been bashing him right now, like bashing.
Yeah.
him.
I explained. I don't want to delve too deep into
Same way
that
we're
tweet,
bashing
but
David. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I do want to say that, lesson learned for Andy: think before you write, and make sure that your thoughts are being well articulated instead of putting moronic things and getting ripped to pieces.
I don't have to
Deservedly
worry
so,
about that.
as
My
I said.
thoughts are always well articulated. My takes are always perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But
happy
anyways,
about
at
that.
least I'll say this. At least I have the balls to put it on paper, huh? So
I don't
with
need the
that
balls to put
said,
on paper because I'm never wrong. So
oh, you're never wrong.
no, when have I ever never been wrong in my life?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
My takes are always perfect.
You
Yeah,
know, actually,
okay.
there was a guy wearing a Greece shirt, casquette,
Cap.
cap, during the game, and I was like, Elias's people out here, man. What are they doing out here watching the
Weren't you wearing
Canada
like a Peru
game?
shirt like 2 3 weeks ago?
No, we were actually sitting under a tree, and my wife got a bird poop on her. All right, so let's move on to the next game. So, regardless of who the next opponent is, what does Canada need to do to improve the overall performance?
We did
I
talk
think this.
about it.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
gaps,
just
right?
quickly, give me a quick.
The gaps in the middle, in between the lines, were way too big against South Africa. I think the press. I don't mind them pressing half the pitch. But you have to understand that if you press Frankie De Jong and Ryan Gravenberch together, they will eat you alive if you're not coordinated. They will just literally murder you. So I think that the press has to be much more selective about when they do it. I wouldn't mind a triggered press instead of an all out balls to the wall kind of press that they normally do. But besides that, honestly, I think they can't. They have to respect the opposition, obviously, but I don't want them to sink into this low block, super negative, and pray. I think they need to have some kind of deterrent, right? Having Buchanan, having David, if you can, having Davies or Promise David that are available as a counterattack, as a counterattacking option to keep the Dutch honest and not committing 9 players to the attack. I think that's what I'd like to see from them.
Hattie, what would you like to see from
Yeah,
Canada?
as I said a bit earlier, for me, time between the 45th minute and the 60th minute, that's something that they need to address. That's the first thing. And the second thing, they have to be more clinical up front. It's just not normal to have that many chances and not score goals. That's the two things that they need to address. The rest, yeah, of course, everything is perfectible, but I think that they have done a lot of growth in the past few games already in the World Cup, in my opinion. I see a lot more positives right now, and I saw a lot more positives in the South African games than in the Bosnia game. For me, it's a different team. It's a lethal team that I'm seeing right now. The thing is, you need to continue on growing, and you need to continue on offering a better opposition to your opponent next time around.
Absolutely. What I would want to see Canada, whoever they play against, I'm not even worried about the opponent. I don't care if they win 5-0 or lose 5-0. I want to see a clear identity. As I mentioned, the identity isn't clear to me. It is to you guys. You guys seem to have an understanding of what their identity is. I don't. I try to identify, try to sum up who Canada is when they play, and I have a hard time because there's too many, as you mentioned, Hattie, there's too many gaps in between the um, when they're having good sequences of play that would show me what kind of team they are. So I think that's what I want to see them. I want to see Canada impose themselves in the game and have other teams say, "Oh shit, Canada's here." So yeah.
Yeah. Good, good, good. So that was nice. Great, I think, analysis of the Canada South Africa game and the future of Canada. But we're going to take some time to give a quick shout out to our partners at Impact Essentials. So if you're looking to upgrade your daily routine, it is the place to do it. So Impact Essentials, it's a Montreal-based premium grooming brand specializing in high-end all natural beard care with some absolutely incredible scent profiles. We're talking coffee infused whiskey, tobacco, and cognac. A lot more than that. So, not only that, but there's a lot more choice. If it honestly turns your morning routine into a full on ritual. And for those without a beard, like my friend Andy, don't worry, they've got a new line coming very soon. Make sure to just follow their socials to make sure that you don't miss the launch. Now go show them some love at impactessentials.ca and please use our promo code TBIR to save 15% off your order. Every purchase helps support the show and we truly appreciate it. So I repeat, promo code TBIR for 15% off.
I may not have a beard, but I have a lot of hair in my eyebrow, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Whatever.
Sorry. I never grew up. I'm a boy. All right. So next up, we got Rose FC, who are once again back home, uh, facing Ottawa Rapid, who are, I believe, as of Thursday, they were at the top of the table, right? And Roses were right on second place. Roses lost the game 2-1 and haven't won since May 23rd against Ottawa. Yeah, it's kind of they're kind of going through a rut right now, and we saw that last year. It's after the Latif Abdul left. But let's go ahead and get right into the game, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit as to where do Roses go from here. So yeah, Elias, if you can pull up the lineup for the Roses game. So at goalie we had Anna Karpenko, we had Anne Valerie Seto, Lucy Capadonna, and Megan Sauvé again playing center back. We had Haley Whitaker and Charim Kang playing the left middle and right middle. And in the midfield, we had Chloe Minas and Charlotte Bibot. We had Badu, Tanya Boychuk, and Bennett as the strikers. So I don't think we saw many changes here from the last game. Was there any changes? Did I miss something?
And Boychuk was the only change.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Boychuk was the only one that was reinserted into the starting lineup. Surprisingly, Lisa
And Monyard too.
Petresky was out. They had told me that she was going to be back for this game, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully
Her and
she's back.
Stephanie Hill right now are closer to not starting again, and they're kind of taking it a bit longer than who were the other two? Boychuk and Paquin. They were back in the lineup, no problem. Petrisky and Hill might be a bit longer, so we'll have to see again. Hattie and I will be at training tomorrow. We'll give you updates on the Patreon.
Get it.
Quick plug.
Yeah.
Get it. All right, but that's good but it's worrisome that those two, as you mentioned, are not there because Sharim Kang. It was her last game. It was her last game with the team on Thursday, and I mean we discussed it at length at this show that she wasn't a very very impactful player, unfortunately towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take that somebody that plays that position out. And Lisa Petresky would have normally been in that position. So what did you guys think of the game? 2-0 loss. 2-1 loss. What were your thoughts on the game? How do I'll start with you?
Oh man, it was. I think Ottawa really played the game perfectly to counter the Roses. They played in counter attack. They were very lethal in their counters. The Roses had the possession, had control of the game, but they weren't able to create much. If you compare, the Canada game to the Roses game, for me, it's a lot more worrying what I'm seeing from Roses than what I saw from Canada. Because, except, the goal and one shot that hit the bar from Elise Bennett, you didn't see a lot of chances from Roses. And they had complete control of the game. And that's super worrying. And now you're looking at the last sequence of games, and I'm worried for the Roses. I'm very, very worried. For me, there's a big problem right now where we seem to have lost completely. We lost completely any ability to score, not to score goals, but to win games.
Wait. But we were having the same conversation this time last year.
Yeah.
Same exact question you're asking.
Yeah. But that was later in the season, no?
Yeah, but why
not that early?
They revamped the offense for this?
Yeah. So I wonder what's the problem. Now, my opinion is very simple. For me, you're missing some key pieces in that team. And yes, we talked about it with Elias said something very interesting at the beginning when we had, all those wins, where we forfeited in a way the right-hand side, like the right wing back position, where you had just a winger and a midfielder that was Shirin Cam, that was, Shirin Kim, sorry, that was really, cutting inside and playing in the middle. So you didn't have a right winger per se. But right now, this is becoming a problem Because when you don't have Lisa Peczerski, you're losing everything because you don't have any other piece that fills that role. And that's a super big problem. At the same time, yes, they have a lot of injuries. Let's say it like it is.
Well,
A
injuries
lot.
happen to everybody, though. I mean,
Yeah, but they have a bit too much, man. Honestly, between Felicia Roy, between Stephanie Hill, between
Patricia.
Bushik that just came back, which
Julia
so
Leas
many.
still out.
Yeah, there's so many injuries, and
Yeah.
it's not when you don't have such a deep squad, so and you're missing 5-6 players, and that's a problem. That's a big problem. But Robert Resitoyu and of course Maris need to really, and the whole staff need to work on finding solutions to get out of that streak that's becoming a bit of a problem. And honestly, that's starting to really worry me.
Elias, I'll let you give your take on the game, but I just kind of want to ask you guys this because I mentioned it last pod, and I'm gonna ask it again because you're talking about finding solutions to a problem. But do we continue playing Megan Sauvé as a center back? Because we have Olivia Mbala that is a natural center back, and Megan Sauvé, in my opinion, thrives a lot more as a wing back. So are they really out of options? Are they making the right solution to a problem? Are they creating a problem because of a problem? What do you guys see that when you see something like that? Elias, I'll start with you. What
I think what's asked of the fullback, the outside center backs in the back three, especially the ones on the side where it's more attacking. So we talked about how that they were forfeiting the right hand side. Well, now they're forfeiting the left hand side because they have what was Cherim, who was
They're
playing left wing
forfeiting
back.
all the sides.
No, and then they had Haley Whitaker, who's a conventional wing back,
Yeah.
right?
She played very
Megan
well, by
Sauvé,
the way.
who had a very good game. Megan Sauvé is more mobile than Olivia Mbala. And the same way that they count on Anver Hiseto on the right side, whenever they would sacrifice the right side and have Patricia or Cherim as wingback, they need a mobile, ball-playing, progressive kind of player. And I think both in and out of possession, Megan Sauvé has been excellent at center back. She's had a few there was one notable mistake, especially against Toronto, that cost a goal. It was a mix-up between her and Chloe Minas to not track the run in behind her.
Yeah.
But very quickly she learned from her mistake, and since then she's been more or less faultless. She's been really solid in that position. So I my only assumption is that they're looking for a more mobile kind of player, and I think that if you put Olivia Mbala on that field right now, she would be best suited to play in the middle of the back three, and that would force Lucy Capadonna out wide, and then she's playing out of position. But if Lucy Capadonna
she's
is
done
one
it before.
yes, but it's not optimal, right? Megan Sauvé has shown that she can play it at a very high level and be not only competent but excel in that position as well. So I think that they're just switching sides on what side they're quote unquote sacrificing, right? Because that's why we saw Cherim play as a left wing back over 2 games. And I think that until Stephanie Hill gets back, that's probably going to be the case going forward. And it's also important to remember that Lisa Peczerski is a lefty, right? So if they do have her playing in that semi wing back position, she's going to be playing on her left foot, which means she can also play the ball in. She could whip in crosses. She'll be better suited to play the wing back position on the left side than on the right. Now, none of this is ideal, but we talked about this at the beginning of the season, where one minor inconvenience, not even an injury crisis, what they're in right now, all they need is a minor inconvenience, and the wheels could fall off.
Yeah.
These people are going to start playing out of position. You're going to have to start compensating because you have no other wingbacks. Julia Elise gets hurt. You have no other proper. You're down to 4 center backs in the back 3 formation. So people are being forced to play out of position. If Felicia Roy and Mahou Bouchard, who's back now, but she was injured all season so far, both of them are at the same time. You have no natural 6s on your team besides Charlotte Bilbao and Chloe Minas. So you have no subs there either, right? So just a minor inconvenience would have been a disaster. And now an actual full-blown injury crisis, which we've seen over the last month with this team, it's it's a dumpster fire, and it's a massive kind of Jenga tower now that Robert Toyu has to kind of disarm. So I do think that they still have the quality to be among the top teams in the league, But again, they're their own worst enemy on the field sometimes, because I still see them taking too long to move the ball. I still see them settling with the territorial gains they make and not pushing further forward or not continuing to move the ball, pressing that advantage they make. And this is probably my only beef with the midfield that I found so far to be really strong this season. Kluminasa and Charlotte Bibo in terms of ball retention have been excellent, but they're not authoritative enough. And I don't
Yeah.
feel like they're throwing their weight and their quality around nearly enough. We saw it against Toronto 2 weeks ago, where Charlotte Bilbao finally said, she took it upon herself to say, I am breaking lines, I am finding the space in behind, I'm creating chances. We have not seen that from her all season. It was by far her best game of the season. And Chloe Minas, the same thing, right? She has the ability to kind of break these lines, to take over the game. And I don't see it enough. I see them holding onto the ball a bit too long. I see them maybe not forcing the play as much, or I see them forcing at the wrong time. So I think that, especially in the middle of the field, when they shut down those wide plays so much, because that's where Montreal's been so successful, forcing the midfielders now, that double pivot to kind of run the show, is an adjustment that they haven't been willing to make. And I don't understand why, when you have the quality that you do in the midfield. But at this point now, with the lack of depth that you have, it's borderline mandatory.
Yeah. And look, two things here. First off, we're going to need, I think instead of having to patch up like all these points that you mentioned, Elias, Roses FC are going to need to get new players. They are going to have to get new players, unfortunately, because some of these injuries are taking a lot longer than they thought, and they need that depth in the squad. Second thing, over the offseason, they I don't know if you guys remember this, but they actually let go of Yannick Girard, who was their physical trainer, because they had let him go, or they better said they didn't renew him, because there was too many injuries, and they were trying to revamp the medical, not the medical team, but the physical preparation, so they could avoid injuries. But we've gone back to the same conversation we had last year with too many injuries. Last year, I think we had Tanya Boychuk out for a little bit. Julia Leos was also out again. A few players that were out injured, and it seems to have ended in the same way. So I think there's a lot of work to be done. Don't forget, guys, this year Robert Rasatoyu is on a contract year, right? So he needs to actually put on a good season. The pressure's on him. He's been out for the past 2 weeks, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he still needs to make the identity needs to be clear, and the management needs to be done. Anyway, so that does it for Rosa. Well, actually, sorry, before we move on, can you guys give me your top and the flop of the game, please? I'll start with you, Elias.
My top is Megan Sauvé. I think she's been fantastic since she moved to the left side of that back three. I think she looks very comfortable, and the fact that she was playing as a left winger a year ago, and now she's playing left side center back, and still being as effective and still being a very important leader in the team is a testament to how versatile she is. And I hope the team gets healthy enough that she doesn't have to play left side center back. But I think that she was really strong. My flop, because I think that a lot of players mildly underperformed in that game, and I think it added up to a loss. I don't have anyone that really stuck out as, oof, they're having a bad game. I'm going to say the final third. That was my flop, because I feel like they weren't concise enough, and they just were not attacking quick enough.
That's too easy.
The
final third.
Because that's the thing, right? Like I feel like many players were not exactly up to the needed level, and if they're all slightly beneath what they're supposed to be playing at, it adds up, and it adds up to a 2-1 loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more specific. Honestly, I haven't been at all.
Thank you for being so specific.
I haven't been at all impressed by Monyard.
Nope.
I feel that offensively, she's had a great chance to really show what she can do in that game. she had two very good chances, in my opinion, and the two shots were flat and weren't that good. And for me, it's a very big missed opportunity for her. And I was very, very disappointed because I think she had a chance this year to show that she deserves more minutes, she deserves more starts, and she didn't seize it. So for me, she was the flop. As for the top, Sharon, man, it was her best game. It was her last game, but
Oh,
it
but
was
that
her
goal
best
that she
game.
missed at the end, though.
Yeah, but dude, she created so much, so
Yeah.
much, and she had so many good chances. And we saw her, use her technique, dribble and play with the ball, and she looked like happy on the pitch. And it was the first time that I saw her happy on the pitch
Yeah,
this
and
year.
it's a shame that it comes in her last game because this is who we saw last year at the beginning. We saw somebody
I
that
understand.
was enjoying their football and was enjoying and brought a different dynamic to the field, and we were so excited for her to develop more into the system, but
Yeah,
it went downhill. So
yeah, and she had only one or two great games last year, and the one was against Calgary when she scored two goals. But like, we didn't see her be that good consistently
yeah,
last year either. So, and this year we didn't see anything from her except in her last game. So I think that the fact that she knew that she was leaving was a bit of a relief. So I think that I'm speculating, but I think that she went through a lot of really heavy and tough stuff
yeah,
since the beginning of the year, and having that relief, knowing that she'll be leaving, I think freed her for that game. And it's a pity, but we saw glimpses of what she could have been with the
yeah.
Roses.
Well, we definitely felt it. Definitely felt like we there was something missing. Where we saw in the games that things were not things
Yeah,
seemed to be a little bit off,
yeah.
but
And
yeah,
I want to give just a small good job to Paquin. I really loved what
Yeah,
she did
off the
when she
bench.
came on the pitch. I really loved her energy and the way she moved, and I felt that she brought something different on the pitch. And just good job on that small cameo. So hopefully we'll see her a bit more.
awesome. All right, Elias. Well, if you can close us off, and we'll be off to
We're not
watch
gonna do a recap of the week.
recap of the. Yeah, sure. We can go ahead and just like we did last week, do a quick
Rapid fire, very rapid fire.
very rapid fire before we get to the game. So we'll start with the first one. Most entertaining game you've seen so far in the World Cup. Hadi?
I would
I'm
say
doing a
not so far since the last spot, and I would
Okay,
say
fine.
Brazil Japan that we saw today. What an amazing game! So amazing,
I'm
really
still a
high
little bit
quality
sad
stuff.
about them losing, so I don't really want to talk about that game. It was
But
heartbreaking.
high quality,
Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
high quality game.
Go ahead, Elias.
Algeria, Austria, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was nice.
Yeah,
That
What
was
an ending!
nice. That was
Fantastic
nice. That
ending!
was nice.
Fantastic ending.
1,000%.
That was nice.
1,000% with you there. Yeah, I agree with you, Eliza. That game, if my wife was yelling, it's a tie, like that, everything about that game was fantastic. Biggest surprise.
Davis is back. I wasn't expecting it. Honestly, I was losing hope that Alfonso Davis was
I don't
going to
believe what
have.
Jesse Marsh says anymore.
Yeah, I thought that we weren't like we saw Neymar. Neymar didn't play a minute yet, so I thought that it was going to be the same thing for Alfonso.
What a
Davies,
heartbreak.
So, yeah, it is a heartbreak. I love. He brings that extra flavor to the game, and yeah.
For
But
me,
yeah,
Sorry.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
okay. So Davies back for me is the biggest surprise.
Biggest surprise for me, Ecuador. Holy smokes.
No, man, they were
Biggest
great,
surprise.
man. They finished, I think, third.
No, but against
Uh,
Germany, that game that they played, what a
Nice.
game.
Oh, you mean the
That was-
game itself? Hell yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That was it wasn't the most entertaining game, but to me, it was the biggest surprise. But
The biggest surprise
Elias?
is Paraguay.
Paraguay.
It just happened, right?
Yeah.
why do you keep
The
bringing
biggest-
sad memories into the spot?
Biggest upset of the
Dude, you're
tournament so
too
far,
sad,
except for
Andy. Everything brings you sad memories.
it's that
I'm wearing
and
a blue
Spain,
shirt. I'm feeling
Cabo
blue.
Verde. That's it, man. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
Oh no, my biggest
Unbelievable.
surprise is how bad my tweet was yesterday. All right, next one, best team.
I'm not surprised.
Elias, who was the best team?
The best team is France. We've been avoiding talking about France this
I
entire
hate it,
pod
man.
since the World Cup start. Holy shit,
They're
man.
too good.
We're
Man.
past an hour and a half. Holy fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
They're
No,
so
no.
good. They're
Yeah,
It's
they have a lot of players from
disgusting how
PSG.
good they are.
abusing, man.
It's disgusting.
It's genuinely gluttonous. They're especially with the fact that all of them right now are in arguably the best form of their life.
Yeah.
You know, Dembele, Mbappe, and Olise are all in the best form of their careers, and they're playing like this.
Hadi, can I talk
It's
shit?
so fun to watch.
For
I
sure, you
hate
can.
it.
How many players in France are with PSG right now?
Like two.
No, there's more than that.
Starting or with the squad.
With the squad?
Oh,
Like
maybe
4?
4 or 5.
How many are with Marseille?
More than 4 or 5.
How many are with Marseille?
None.
All right,
None,
seven.
but so many are former Marseille.
Okay, Andy, how many Bayern players got knocked out today?
Not enough. Not enough, and that's the problem.
Shut
Not
the fuck
enough.
up.
Because most of them are playing for Austria. All right, next one. Worst team. Germany, let's go. Germany, baby, let's go. They're the
No,
worst team.
you're gonna be happy with my answer, Andy. And for me, it's Qatar. Dude, man, it's
He
just
gave it.
honestly like FIFA cannot hide anymore. Corruption, it's just there's too much corruption. Like this team won 2 Asian Cups. Like this team won Japan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan. All those teams that have been pretty good in that competition. Twice? Nah, man.
What was the team that got their asses handed to them and fired their coach after the first game? Tunisia. That's one of the worst.
Yeah,
if you're telling me,
that's
what a
also,
story!
yeah.
What
Yeah, I agree.
a fucking story!
The worst of the entire Iraq.
Really?
Oh.
No, I didn't.
4-1, 3-0, 5-0. I understand you were in arguably the hardest group in the tournament.
Yeah.
Have some respect, man.
Dude, Qatar 6-0 against Canada, 4-1 against Bosnia, 3-1 against Bosnia, and they got lucky in the 1-1 against Switzerland. So, like, for me,
Switzerland played bad.
And they got lucky because they scored in the last second.
Iraq, for me, man, 12 goals in 3 games.
All right. Best goal for me, Steven Eustaquio yesterday, given the circumstances, given at what moment it was, how it was done, what it did for the sport, what it did for the country. Best goal so far. And it was a sweet goal. It was a very well taken goal. So, yeah, that's my best goal. Elias, how do you quickly?
Kaishu Sano, his goal today against Brazil. Unbelievable. They're gone,
yes,
but
yes.
They may be gone, but never forget. Dude, the Japanese gave us such good football this tournament. It's heartbreaking that they're out, but they gave us some unbelievable quality and some beautiful
such
goals.
Excellent soccer. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would choose exactly the same game, Elias, but I would choose the Martinelli goal.
Again, beautiful.
So
goal.
Amazing goal.
Terrible defending, but beautiful goal.
No, the defender gave it to him. I'm sorry.
But it's a good goal.
To find the pass and the way he shot it one time, the finishing was very, very hard.
Honestly, I did not think he was going to finish that. It's Gabriel Martinelli. I'm like, no way.
Me neither.
And then he did.
I'm not even kidding you. I made enemies today at work because I am surrounded by Brazilians, and I was the only one that yelled out when the Japan scored, and they all wanted to assassinate me. But anyways, finish it off with best player. Best player so far, since the last pod. Best player of the tournament.
As of right now, fucking Eustaquio, man.
Okay.
He's not even the best Canadian.
Fucking Eustaquio.
We did the best top a little earlier. Anyways, best player of the tournament so far, Elias, to you.
Dude, it's Messi. Like, he's got 6 goals.
No.
In 3 games. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Eustaquio.
No. Okay, Hadi. But no, I mean the best player has been the referee. They've been great with their little cameras. what an angle of the game. But
the worst team has been the VAR because of the penalty they didn't call. We didn't talk about that. The
did
penalty.
you see the toe? Did you see the toe?
You said it was clean defense. I don't want to hear a word out of you, Andy.
Did you see the toe? That was so good. And no, yes, it was a penalty.
That was the clearest penalty I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, you're talking about the Canada game? No, I'm talking about the Colombia game where the offsides of the toe. Did you guys see that? The toe of the offside of the Colombia?
That was shameful.
Beautiful technology, baby.
You're out of your mind, Andy. I'm gonna put you in timeout if you don't stop. That was a penalty. That was a dead penalty. There's no way.
Elias, while you're on your rants and your emotions, finish us off. Go ahead.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for episode 268 of the Balls Round podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Again, we'll be back next week for more Canada World Cup content. Who would have thought we're still going? Unbelievable. But here we are. Again, the podcast is free. The podcast will always be free. However, if you want to lend a helping hand, if you want to contribute, we do have a Patreon. Any amount is infinitely appreciated. It lets us do the stuff we do to a higher level. Always. If you just want to contribute, if you just want to sign up for free, you can also do that. It'll give you lots of really cool access, lots of cool goodies, sneak previews on interviews, Op Watch, where we do previews for CF Montreal games with media from the opposing team, preview on every video, basically, and also a little bit of the practice notes. Of course, if you want to contribute a little bit of money, you get the full practice notes whenever we are present at CF Montreal, Rose's Super Training. Keep an eye out for more of that this week, of course. But yeah, besides that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Next week, episode 269, round of 16 recap. Go huge. Canada, everyone else, go enjoy Netherlands versus Morocco. It's going to be one of the best games of the tournament. We will see you all next week.
Locura